Hey guys, still here. Today I have an entirely experimental video. I'm going to call this Stealth R&R, and it is after many of you have told me that you use my videos to relax, to calm down, to unwind, and even to fall asleep in some cases. So what I'm going to be doing in this particular video is reading from one of the pages about a military vehicle. If this video turns out to be successful, I'll be doing it more often. And the game in the background is just an older game from Wargame Brendryen. It has absolutely no bearing on what I'm about to read to you. You can also get this thing through an MP3 link down below in the description if you want to listen to it and maybe to help you sleep. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Alright, I'm going to be reading about the Challenger 2. It's the Wikipedia page. Challenger 2 is one of my favorite tanks. I love the way it looks. I like the endurance of it. And let's have a bit of a look about how this thing came to be. The FV 4034 Challenger 2, or mod designation CR2, is a third-generation British main battle tank in service with the armies of the United Kingdom and Oman. It was designed and built by the British company Vickers Defence Systems, now known as BAE Systems Land and Armaments. Vickers Defence Systems began to develop a successor to the Challenger 1 as a private venture in 1986. A £90 million deal for a demonstrator vehicle was finalized in January 1989. In June 1991, the Ministry of Defence placed a £520 million order for 140 vehicles, with a further 268 ordered in 1994. Production began in 1993, and the unit's tanks were delivered in July 1994, replacing the Challenger 1. The tank entered service with the British Army in 1998, with the last delivered in 2002. It is expected to remain in service until 2035. The Royal Army of Oman ordered 18 Challenger 2s in 1993 and a further 20 tanks in November 1997. The Challenger 2 is an extensive redesign of the Challenger 1. Although the hull and automotive components seem similar, they are of a newer design and build than those of the Challenger 1. And only 3% of the components are interchangeable. A visual recognition feature is the armored housing for the doze thermal gun sight. The Challenger 2 has this above the gun barrel, the Challenger 1 has it at the right-hand side of the turret. The tank's drive system provides 550 km range with a maximum road speed of 59 km per hour. The Challenger 2 is equipped with a 120mm 55 caliber long L30A1 tank gun, the successor of the L11 gun used on the Chieftain and Challenger 1. Unique among the NATO main battle tank armament, the L30A1 is rifled, because the British Army continues to place a premium on the use of high explosive squash or HESH rounds, in addition to armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding sabot rounds. The Challenger 2 is also armed with an L94A1, EX34 7.62mm chain gun, and a 7.62mm L37A2 machine gun. 50 main armament rounds and 4,200 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition are carried. The Challenger 2 has a 4-man crew. The turret and hull are protected with second-generation cobham armor, also known as Dorchester. On one occasion, in August 2006, during the post-invasion stage of the Iraq War, an RPG-29 was fired at a Challenger 2 that was climbing over a ramp. The armor on its front underside hull, which was augmented with an explosive reactive armor package, was damaged, injuring several crew members. The tank subsequently returned to base under its own power and was quickly repaired and back on duty the following day. As a response to the incident, the explosive reactive armor package was replaced with a Dorchester block and the steel underbelly lined with armor as part of the Street Fighter upgrade. To date, the only time the tank has been seriously damaged during operations was by another Challenger 2 in a blue-on-blue or friendly fire incident at Basra in 2003, when the damaged tank had its hatch open at the time of the incident. It has seen operational services in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, and Iraq. The history. The Challenger 2 is the third vehicle of its name. The first being the A30 Challenger, a World War II design, using the Cromwell tank chassis with a 17-pounder gun. The second was the Persian Gulf War era Challenger 1, which was the British Army's main battle tank from the early 1980s to the mid-1990s. Vickers Defence System began to develop its successor to Challenger 1 as a private venture in 1986. Following the issue of a staff requirement for a next-generation tank, Vickers submitted its plans for Challenger 2 to the Ministry of Defense. They evaluated the American M1 Abrams offered by General Dynamics, but the Thatcher government chose to proceed with the Challenger 2 in December 1998. Secretary of State for Defense George Younger announced to the House of Commons that Vickers would receive a £90 million contract for a demonstrator vehicle, a deal that was finalized in January 1989. The demonstration phase had 3 milestones for progress, with dates of September 1989, March 1990 and September 1990. At the last of these milestones, Vickers was to have met 11 key criteria for the tank's design. In June 1991, after competition with other tank manufacturers' design, including the M1A2 Abrams and the Leopard 2, the Ministry of Defense placed a £520 million order for 127 main battle tanks and 13 driver training vehicles. An order for a further 259 tanks and 9 driver trainers, worth £800 million, was placed in 1994. Oman ordered 18 Challenger 2s in 1993 and a further 20 tanks in November 1997. Production began in 1993 at 2 primary sites, Elswijk, Tyne and Wear, and Barnbow, Leeds, although over 250 subcontractors were involved. The first tanks were delivered in July 1994. The Challenger 2 successfully completed its reliability growth trial in 1994. 3 vehicles were tested for 285 simulated battlefield days. Each day consisted of a 27 kilometer or 17 miles of on-road travel, 33 kilometers, 21 miles of off-road travel, 34 main armament rounds fired, 1,000 7.62mm rounds fired, 16 hours of weapon system operation, 10 hours of main engine idling, and 3.5 hours of main engine running. An equally important milestone was the In-Service Reliability Demonstration, or the ISRD, in 1999. 12 fully crewed tanks were tested at the Bovington test tracks and at Lulworth-Binden ranges. The tank exceeded all staff requirements. The Challenger 2 entered service with the British Army in 1998, with the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards, with the last delivered in 2002. It serves with the Queen's Royal Hussars, the King's Royal Hussars, and the Royal Tank Regiment, each of which is the tank regiment of an armoured infantry brigade. Under Army 2020, only 3 Challenger 2 tank regiments will remain: the Queen's Royal Hussars, the King's Royal Hussars, and the Royal Tank Regiment. A single Army Reserve Regiment, the Royal Wessex Yeomanry, will provide reservist Challenger crews to the regular regiments. Deliveries of the Challenger 2 to Oman were completed in 2001. The Trojan minefield breaching vehicle and the Titan bridge-laying vehicle based on the chassis of Challenger 2 were shown in November 2006. 66 are to be supplied by BAE Systems to the Royal Engineers at a cost of £250 million. A British military document from 2001 indicated that the British Army would not procure a replacement for Challenger 2 because of a lack of foreseeable conventional threats in the future. However, the IHS Jane 360s reported on 20 September 2015 that following discussions with senior Army officers and procurement officials at the DSEI 2015, as well as with the head of the British Army, General Sir Nick Carter, that the British Army was looking to either upgrade the Challenger 2 or outright replacing it. Sources confirmed that the future of the main battle tank was being considered at the highest levels of the Army. This stemmed from the British Army's concern with the new Russian T-14 Armata main battle tank and the growing ineffectiveness of the aging L-30 rifled gun and its limited suite of ammunition. Further, it was confirmed that numerous armored vehicle manufacturers had discussions with the Ministry of Defense about a potential replacement for the Challenger 2. Shortly after, the British Army decided that purchasing a new tank would be too expensive and chose to proceed with a Challenger 2 Life Extension Project, or LEP. It is expected to remain in service until 2025. Maintenance and overhaul of the Challenger 2s is currently undertaken at Babcock Defence Support Group, and design authority for the tanks is held by BAE Systems. Design. Armament. The Challenger 2 is equipped with a 120mm or 4.7-inch 55 caliber long L30A1 tank gun, the successor to the L11 gun used on the Chieftain and Challenger 1. The gun is made from a high-strength electroslag remelting, or ESR steel, with a chromium alloy lining and, like the earlier British 120mm guns, it is insulated by a thermal sleeve. It is fitted with a muzzle reference system and fume extractor and is controlled by an all-electric control and stabilization system. The turret has a rotation time of 9 seconds through 360 degrees. Uniquely among the NATO main battle tank armament, the L30A1 is rifled, and along with its predecessor, the Royal Ordnance L11A1, the only third-generation main battle tank guns to use a rifled barrel. This is because the British Army continues to place a premium on the use of high-explosive squash head or HESH rounds, in addition to armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sable rounds. HESH rounds have a longer range, up to 8 kilometers or 5 miles further, than APFSDS and are more effective against buildings and thin-skinned vehicles. 49 main armament rounds are carried in the turret and hull. These are a mix of the L27 APFSDS, L31 HESH and L34 white phosphorus smoke rounds, depending on the situation. As with earlier versions of the 120mm gun, the propellant charges are loaded separately from the shell or the KE projectile. A combustible rigid charge is used for the APFSDS rounds and a combustible hemispherical back charge for the HESH and smoke rounds. An electrically fired vent tube is used to initiate firing of the main armament rounds. The main armament ammunition is thus described as 3-part ammunition, consisting of the projectile, charge, and vent tube. The separation of ammunition pieces also aids in ensuring lower chances of ammunition detonation. The Challenger 2 is also armed with the L94A1 chain gun. This is a 7.62mm chain gun coaxially to the left of the main gun, and a 7.62mm L37A2 machine gun mounted on a pintle on the loader's hatch ring. 4,200 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition are carried. The Challenger can also mount a Leonardo Enforcer remote weapon system, bearing a 7.62 or L37A2 machine gun, a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, or a 40mm automatic grenade launcher. Fire control and sights. The digital fire control computer from Computing Devices Co. of Canada contains two 32-bit processors with an MIL STD1553B data bus and has a capacity for additional systems, such as a battlefield information control system. The commander has a panoramic Sagem VS 580-10 gyro-stabilized sight with laser rangefinder. Elevation range is plus 35 degrees to minus 35 degrees. The commander station is equipped with 8 periscopes for 360-degree vision. The Thermal Observation and Gunnery Sight, or TOGS-2 from Thales, provides night vision. The thermal image is displayed on both the gunner's and the commander's sights and monitors. The gunner has a stabilized primary sight using a laser rangefinder with a range of 200 meters, or 660 feet, to 10-kilometer range, 6.2 miles. The driver's position is equipped with the Thales Optronics Image Intensifying Passive Driving Periscope, or PDP, for night driving and a rear view thermal camera. Protection. The Challenger 2 is a heavily armored and well-protected tank. The turret and hull are protected by a second generation of Cobham armor, also known as Dorchester, the details of which are classified, but which is said to be more than twice as strong as steel. Crew safety was paramount in the design, using a solid-state electric drive for its turret and gun movement, thus removing the traditional risk of hydraulic rupture in the crew compartment. Explosive reactive armor kits are also fitted as necessary along with an additional bar armor. The Nuclear, Biological and Chemical or NBC protection system is located in the turret bustle. The tank shape is also designed to minimize its radar signature. On each side of the turret there are 5 L8 smoke grenade discharges. The Challenger 2 can also create smoke by injecting diesel fuel into the exhaust manifolds. Drive system. The tank's drive system comprises an engine, this is the Perkins 26.1 liter 60-degree V, twin turbocharged CV12 6A 4-stroke 4-valve per cylinder, direct injection diesel engine delivering 1200 brute horsepower, or 895 kilowatts at 2300 rotations per minute. It has a torque of 4,126 Newton meters at 1700 RPM. The engine and gearbox are controlled by a Petard's Vehicle Integrated Control System, or VIX. As for the gearbox, it has a David Brown Centesalo TN54E epicycle transmission. This gives it 6 forward gears and 2 in reverse, rated at 1200 brute horsepower and upgradable to 1500 brute horsepower. For suspension, it has a Horstman Defense System 2nd generation hydro gas suspension unit. The tracks are made by William Cook Defense. They're hydraulically adjustable TR60 414 double pins. Maximum speed, 37 miles per hour or 60 kilometers per hour. On-road, 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour off-road. Range, 342 miles or 550 kilometers on-road with external fuel tanks. 156 miles or 250 kilometers across country on internal fuel. The tank is also fitted with an Extel Systems Wadle APU, or also known as an auxiliary power unit, also referred to as a GUE, generating unit engine, based around a 38 kilowatt Perkins P404C-22 diesel engine, with a 600 amp electrical output which can be used to power the vehicle's electrical system when it is stationary and the main engine is switched off. This replaces the Perkins P4108 engine fitted when the tank was first introduced. The use of an APU allows for reduced fuel consumption and lowers the audio and thermal signature of the vehicle. As of 2013, the British Army has, at various events featuring the Challenger 2, begun to state the on-road range of 550 kilometers as opposed to an earlier stated value of 450 kilometers. They have also publicly stated a maximum road speed of 59 kilometers per hour, while equipped with 15 tons of additional modules. Crew and accommodation. The British Army maintained its requirements for a 4-man crew, including loader, after risk analysis of the incorporation of an automatic loader suggested that autoloaders reduced battlefield survivability. Mechanical failure and the time required for repair were prime concerns. Similar to every British tank since the Centurion and most British AFVs, Challenger 2 contains a boiling vessel, also known as a BV, for water, which can be used to brew tea, produce other hot beverages, and heat boil-in-the-bag meals contained in field ration packs. This BV requirement is general for armoured vehicles of the British Armed Forces and is unique to the armed forces of UK and India. Operational history. The Challenger 2 has been used in peacekeeping missions and exercises before, but its first combat use came in March 2003 during the invasion of Iraq. The 7th Armour Brigade, part of the 1st Armoured Division, was in action with 100 Challenger 2s around Basra. The type saw extensive use during the siege of Basra, providing fire support to the British forces and knocking out Israeli tanks, mainly T-54s and T-55s. The problem that had been identified during the large Saif Sarina 2 exercise held 18 months earlier had been solved by issuing of urgent operational requirements for equipment such as sand filters, and so during the invasion of Iraq, the tank's operational availability was improved. During the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the Challenger 2 tanks suffered no tank losses to Iraqi fire, although one was penetrated by an IED. This was, at the time, unprotected by Dorchester armor. The driver was injured. In one encounter within an urban area, a Challenger 2 came under attack from irregular forces with machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades. The driver's side was damaged, and while attempting to back away under the commander's directions, the other sides were damaged and the tank threw its tracks entering a ditch. It was hit by 14 rocket-propelled grenades from close range and a Milan anti-tank missile. The crew survived, safe, within the tank until it was recovered for repairs, the worst damage being to the sighting system. It was back in operation 6 hours later. One Challenger 2 operating near Basra survived being hit by 70 RPGs in another incident. In 2006, southeast of El Amara, southern Iraq, an RPG-29 capable of firing a tandem charge penetrated the frontal lower underbelly armor of a Challenger 2 commanded by Captain Thomas Williams of the Queen's Royal Hussars. The tank, which had already been hit by 10 to 15 RPGs, small arms and sniper fire, was attempting to draw fire away from another call sign that had become stricken. Its driver, Trooper Sean Chance, lost part of his foot in the blast. 2 more of the crew were slightly injured. Chance was able to reverse the vehicle 1.5 miles, 2.4 kilometers, to the directional aid post despite his injuries. The incident was not made public until May 2007, in response to accusations that crews had been told the tank was impervious to the insurgents' fire. The MOD said, "We have never claimed that the Challenger 2 is impenetrable." Since then, the explosive reactive armor has been replaced with a Dorchester block and the steel underbelly lined with armor as part of the Street Fighter upgrade as a direct response to this incident. 2 Challenger 2s have been damaged in combat, but only one has been destroyed. On March 25, 2003, a friendly fire incident in Basra, in which 1 Challenger 2 of the Black Watch battle group, part of the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, mistakenly engaged another Challenger 2 of the Queen's Royal Lancers after detecting what was believed to be an enemy flanking maneuver on thermal equipment. The attacking tank's second hash round hit the open commander's hatch lid of the QRL tank, sending hot fragments into the turret, killing 2 crew members. The hit caused a fire that eventually led to an explosion of the stowed ammunition, destroying the tank. It remains the only Challenger 2 to be destroyed on operations. On April 6, 2007, in Basra, Iraq, a shaped charge from an IED penetrated the underside of a tank, resulting in the driver losing 3 of his toes and causing minor injuries to another soldier. To help prevent incidents of this nature, the Challenger 2s have been upgraded with a new passive armor package, including the use of add-on armor manufactured by Rafale Advanced Defense Systems of Israel. While deployed in operations, the Challenger 2 is now normally upgraded to TES, Theater Entry Standard, which includes a number of modifications including armor and weapon system upgrades. Upgrades. CLIP. The Challenger Lethality Improvement Program, or CLIP, was a program to replace the current L30A1 rifled gun with the smoothbore Rheinmetall 120mm gun currently used in the Leopard 2A6. The use of a smoothbore weapon would allow the Challenger 2 to use NATO standard ammunition developed in Germany and the US. This includes tungsten-based kinetic energy penetrators, which do not have the same political and environmental objections as depleted uranium rounds. The production lines for rifled 120mm ammunition in the UK have been closed for some years, so existing stocks of ammunition for the L30A1 are finite. In 2009, a new hash round manufactured in Belgium by Mikar has been trialed. This means that the Challenger 2 now has available tungsten fin, APFSDS, and hash rounds, if and when required, which secures a line of ammunition for its 55 caliber rifled main gun, the L30, when required in the future. A single Challenger 2 was fitted with an L55 and underwent trials in January 2006. The smoothbore gun is the same length as the L30A1 and is fitted with the rifled gun's cradle, thermal sleeve, bore evacuator and muzzle reference system. Early trials apparently revealed that the Germans' tungsten DM53 round was more effective than the depleted uranium Charm 3. The ammunition storage and handling arrangements will need to be changed to cater to single-piece smoothbore rounds instead of separate loading rifled rounds. In 2006, a figure of £386 million was estimated to fit all Challengers in the British Army with the Rheinmetall 120mm gun. CSP. Other improvements have also been considered, including a regenerative NBC protection system. In addition, several Challenger 2s had the pintle-mounted GMPG on the loader's crew hatch replaced with a remote-controlled turret, allowing the loader to operate the weaponry without having to expose himself to enemy fire. In May 2007, the Ministries of Defense Future Systems Group invited BAES to tender for the Challenger 2's Capability Sustainment Program, the CSP, which combined all upgrades into one program. However, by mid-2008, the program was in danger of slipping, or even being cancelled, as a result of budget shortfalls. CLEP. The Challenger 2's Life Extension Program, or LEP, is designed to replace obsolete equipment, enhance protection, increase range, and provide improved lethality for the tank until an out-of-service date of 2035, extending its life from 2025. The LEP forms a major component of the Armor MBT 2025 program. In July 2013, it was confirmed that the Challenger 2 Life Extension program was in the concept stage and would be in initial gate by 2014. This slipped to early 2015. In June 2014, it was stated that not all of the 227 Challenger 2s may be modified to CLEP standards, and the smoothbore cannon had been dropped. A Royal Tank Regiment newsletter dated December 2015 stated that the LEP includes managing to curb obsolescence in several turret systems, including the TI sights, the fire control computer, and electronic architecture in the turret. Improved technology will be integrated as a new system on the platform, which will deliver more accurate engagements at range and improved FCC power, meaning that CR2 will remain a battle-winning asset out to the extended out-of-service date. Parallel work strands will provide extensions to virtual training systems, deliver improved live fire monitoring equipment or LFME, and work is ongoing to develop improved 120mm ammunition. The full scope of the life extension program is indicated as being broken down into 4 areas. 1. Surveillance and target acquisition. It has an updated commander's primary sight, updated primary gunner's sight, replacement of thermal observation and gunnery sights, TOGs, and 3rd generation thermal imaging. 2. Weapon control system. The fire control computer, fire control panel, and gun processing unit. Mobility. Through in-service efficiencies, 3rd generation Horstman hydrogas suspension, improved air filtration, CV12 common rail fuel injection, transmission and cooling. And 4. Electronic architecture, modernized electronics. Gunner's control handles, video distribution architecture, generic vehicle architecture compliant interfaces, increased onboard processing, and improved human-machine interface. A recent Ministry of Defense document also identified a soft-kill defensive aid system, the German MUS, for the Challenger 2. Active protection systems, or APS, for armoured vehicles in the UK Armed Forces, including Challenger 2, are being assessed by the UK Defence Science and Technical Laboratory as part of the Medusa Technical Assessment Programme. This includes the MUS system. In 2017, a Challenger 2 was also fitted with a Rheinmetall ROSI Rapid Obscurant system, including parts from the Israeli military industries. Iron Fist hard kill APS for development and assessment by the DSTL. In January 2016, it was reported by IHS Janes that the UK Defence Equipment and Support Organisation had received a number of replies to its pre-qualification questionnaire for the projected Challenger 2 main battle tank life extension program, which aims to extend the life of the Challenger 2 out to 2035. In addition to BAE Systems combat vehicles, which is the original equipment manufacturer, contenders were stated to include Rheinmetall and Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann of Germany, General Dynamic Land Systems UK, Lockheed Martin UK, CMI Defence of Belgium, and RUAG Defence of Switzerland. Around this time, a separate 2-year contract was awarded to BAE Systems and Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann to develop an update to the bridging variant, in part to address the increased weight of the Challenger 2 from 62.5 tons to 75 tons, arising from upgrades made during the Iraq campaign. Final bids for the upgrade program were submitted in August 2016. The life extension program will see the replacement of most of the tank's electronics, including its sighting systems, but does not envisage a major upgrade of the vehicle's drive systems or replacement of the 120mm L30A1 rifled gun. Full bidder confirmation was not available yet. On November 2nd, 2016, it was reported that teams led by Rheinmetall Land Systems and BAE Systems had been chosen as preferred bidders for the assessment phase of the life extension program by the Ministry of Defence. The Ministry of Defence are investing £53 million in the assessment phase. Each contractor receives £23 million, with an additional £7 million being set aside to cover additional unspecified work. The Rheinmetall consortium includes BMT, Pearson Engineering, Supercat and Thales UK, and includes an option to retrofit Rheinmetall's 120mm L55 smoothbore gun should additional funds be made available. The BAE team includes General Dynamics UK, Kinetic, Leonardo, Moog and Safran. Also bidding for the life extension program were teams headed by CMI Defence from Belgium, Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann from Germany, Lockheed Martin UK and RUAG Defence. It is expected that the life extension program for the Challenger 2 could be worth around £650 million or $802 million to the eventual winner. On December 22, 2016, an assessment phase was awarded to BAE Systems and Rheinmetall Land Systems to progress Challenger 2's life extension project. In order to maintain effectiveness of the thermal imaging system, prior to the award and implementation of the CR2 LEP, an interim £15.4 million Challenger 2 thermal imaging sustainment project was awarded to BAE Systems in December 2017 to demonstrate and manufacture a suitable interim solution separate to that incorporated in the life extension program. In October 2018, BAE Systems unveiled its proposed Challenger 2 life extension program technology demonstrator, the Black Knight. The new improvements include a Safran Paseo Commander's Independent Sight, Leonardo Thermal Imager for the gunner, and Leonardo Night Sight DNVS-4. The Black Knight Challenger 2 turret has been modified to improve the speed of traverse and provide greater space, as well as regenerative braking to generate and store power. Other enhancements include a laser warning system and an active protection system. In January 2019, Rheinmetall unveiled details of its proposal for the Challenger 2 life extension project. The company's solution has been to develop a completely new turret, which has a fully digital electronic architecture, new day and night sights for the commander and the gunner, and a Rheinmetall L55 smoothbore 120mm gun. The turret was developed on Rheinmetall's own initiative and was not funded by the United Kingdom Ministry of Defence for the LEP assessment phase. The smoothbore gun was not part of the Ministry of Defence LEP requirement, with the request for proposals focusing on mission system obsolescence. The Rheinmetall proposal is ambitious and is likely to be significantly more expensive than the BAE Systems offering unveiled in 2018. However, the new turret is necessary if a smoothbore gun is selected. If Rheinmetall's planned purchase of a 55% stake in BAE Systems UK operations is approved, the LEP competition between the companies will continue, an agreement with Rheinmetall ensuring that the solution will be delivered from Telfort, regardless of the contract winner. Another Challenger 2 program is the HAAIP, stands for Heavy Armor Automotive Improvement Program. These are options for updating the powertrain of Challenger 2, and they're being analyzed separately from the life extension program. The contract awarded to BAE Systems is evaluating uprating the existing powertrain or potentially swapping the current CV12 engine for alternative designs. There are several variants of the Challenger 2. The Titan armored bridge layer is based on aspects of the Challenger 2's running gear and replaced the Chieftain armored vehicle launched bridge. The Titan came into service in 2006 with the Royal Engineers, with currently 33 in service. The Titan can carry a 26-meter long bridge or two 12-meter long bridges. It can also be fitted with a bulldozer blade. Another variant is the Trojan. The Trojan armored vehicle for the Royal Engineers is a combat engineering vehicle designed as a replacement for the Chieftain AVRE. It uses the Challenger 2's chassis and carries an articulated excavator arm, a dozer blade and attachment rails for fascines. Entered service in 2007. 33 were produced. The Challenger 2E is an export version of the tank. It has an integrated weapon control and battlefield management system, which includes a gyro-stabilized panoramic Sagem MVS 580 day/thermal sight for the commander and Sagem Savin 15 gyro-stabilized day/thermal sight for the gunner, both with eye-safe laser rangefinder. This allows hunter-killer operations with a common engagement sequence. An optional servo-controlled overhead weapons platform can be slaved to the commander's sight to allow operation independent from the turret. The power pack has been replaced by a new 1500 horsepower Euro power pack with a transversely mounted MTU diesel engine coupled with a rank automatic transmission. The increase in both vehicle performance and durability is significant. The smaller volume but more powerful Euro power pack additionally incorporates as standard a cooling system and air intake filtration system proved in desert use. The free space in the hull is available for ammunition, stowage or fuel, increasing the vehicle's range to 550 kilometers. This power pack was previously installed on the French Leclerc tanks delivered to the UAE, as well as the recovery tank version of the Leclerc in service with the French Army. Further developed versions of the Euro power pack have more recently been installed in the latest serial-produced Korean K2 Black Panther tank, as well as the new Turkish Altay tank. BAES announced in 2005 that development and export marketing of 2E would stop. This has been linked by the media to the failure of the 2E to be selected by the Hellenic Army in 2002, a competition won by the Leopard 2. Another variant is the CRARRV, stands for the Challenger Armored Repair and Recovery Vehicle. This is an armored recovery vehicle based on the Challenger 1 hull with the updated Challenger 2 powertrain and is designed to repair and recover damaged tanks on the battlefield. It has 5 seats, but usually only carries a crew of 3 soldiers from the Royal Electric and Mechanical Engineers, the REME, of the Recovery Mechanic and Vehicle Mechanic technician trades. There is room in the cabin for 2 further passengers, for example, crew members of the casualty vehicle, on a temporary basis. The size and performance are similar to the main battle tank, but instead of armament it is fitted with a main winch with a 50-ton force pull in a 1-to-1 configuration, or a 98-ton force pull using an included pulley in a 2-to-1 configuration and an anchor point on the vehicle, plus an auxiliary winch to aid in deploying the main winch rope. It has an Atlas crane capable of lifting 6,500 kilograms, also known as 14,300 pounds, at a distance of almost 5 meters. This is sufficient to lift a Challenger 2 power pack. In order to improve flexibility and supplement the transportation of power packs around the battlefield, the British Army procured a quantity of CRARRV high mobility trailers. Each HMT, high mobility trailer, enables a CRARRV to transport a single Challenger 2, Titan or Trojan power pack or 2 Warrior power packs by altering the configuration of dedicated fixtures and attachments of fittings. It also has dozer blades to use as an earth anchor or stabilizer, or in obstacle clearance and fire position preparation. And finally, it has a large set of recovery and heavy repair tools, including man-portable ultra-thermic cutting system with an underwater cutting capability and a man-portable welder. Current operators of the Challenger 2 are the United Kingdom, with 408 delivered tanks, 227 of which are currently in service as of 2016, including 59 for training or held in reserve. The other operator is Oman, the Royal Army of Oman, with only 38 delivered Challenger 2s. Finally, accidents. On 14th of June 2017, a Challenger 2 from the Royal Tank Regiment suffered an ammunition explosion during live fire exercises at the Castle Martin range in Pembrokeshire. The tank was firing 120mm practice shells with a standard propellant charge. The explosion critically injured the 4-man crew, with 2 later dying of their wounds in hospital. The incident resulted in all British tanks' firing exercises being suspended for 48 hours while the cause of the explosion was investigated. The extent of the damage to the tank, if any, is unknown. It was later determined that a bolt vent axial, or BVA seal, assembly had been removed during an earlier exercise and had yet to be replaced at the time of the incident, thus allowing explosive gases to enter the turret's space. The lack of a written process for removal and replacement of a seal assembly meant that the crew at the time of the incident was unaware of its absence, and it was also noted that the inadequate consideration that had been given during the production of the L-30's gun as to whether it could be fired without the seal assembly. A second explosion that occurred during the incident was attributed to the detonation of bag charges that had been stowed outside of the internal ammunition bins, rather than inside the bins as per correct procedure. And that concludes the reading of the Challenger 2's description on Wikipedia. Hope you enjoyed it. Very much of an experimental vid for me, as mentioned. Let me know what your thoughts are. If enjoyable, I will do more of these. Let me know what your thoughts are. All feedback is appreciated. Positive, negative, improvements, whatever. Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. Hope it relaxed you, and I'll see you soon for more content.